Hi and welcome to the Cult TV Sofa. This is a reaction and discussion video for the 21st episode of Season 3 of Babylon 5 called Shadow Dancing. Don't forget that you can see the full reaction for this episode on my Patreon channel. Check out the link in the description below. Last time we saw telepaths that had been recruited, being shipped out to support and protect ships and bases. Londo concocted a plan to capture Shakar on Narn and wanted to use Veer to deliver the message. The weight of the war was starting to take its toll on Sheridan. Lord Reefer arrived on the station and was trying to gain favour with a senior member of the Centauri court over Londo. Torn, Veer delivered the message that would lure Shakar back to the Narn homeworld. Reefer captured Veer to find out what Londo was planning, and he arranged to be there to capture Shakar before Londo did. A visiting religious leader advised Sheridan that he needed to talk to someone to release some of the burden that he'd taken on. Sheridan and Delenn spotted that the shadows seemed to be luring refugees into a specific place in space in order to launch a large attack which would kill many and demoralize everyone else. Reefer captured Shakar, but it turned out to be a trap for Reefer that Londo had set up, and the Narns showed their appreciation to him for organizing the attack on the Narn homeworld. Londo explained to Veer that he'd been a pawn, basically, because of his honesty. And Delenn gave John a boost by showing him some of the resources that he had at his disposal in the form of dozens of White Star ships. So let's see what happens in this episode. I'm going to put any relevant trivia that I find over here, and at the end of the reaction I'll be discussing what happened and my thoughts about it. And I'm going to start it in 3, 2, 1. 7 days left.
If our information is correct, this could be the biggest engagement of the war to date.
Yeah.
Then why do you not tell us what the mission is?
Secrecy? They'd find out.
How can we trust you when you will not trust us?
Because so far we have kept every promise we've made. We supplied you with telepaths if you didn't have your own.
Yeah, they've done a lot. They need to trust them.
The ships will gather in a holding area in hyperspace, approximately 2 hours from their final destination.
So when the shadows attack,
Will you bring
they'll
this
come in.
engagement?
That's a good
As
point.
many Minbari cruisers as can be spared.
And
some additional forces you have not yet seen.
so they've been keeping that. They're keeping the new White Stars quiet as well, which again I get is for the secrecy, but that's a bigger thing to keep quiet from them. You would have thought they'd have been briefed on new ships that have come in. They haven't got to give all the information, but that's a little bit different. So I'm not quite sure about keeping that quiet. The attack, or it's not an attack, sorry, it's the defense of the counter attack to the shadow attack that looks like it's going to happen. Get that completely. I'm not sure about keeping the White Stars completely quiet. They should have briefed them in some way about them.
The Shadows have been driving refugees and support ships into Sector 83 for 2 months now. My guess is when enough of these ships are gathered,
They'll go and attack. Yeah.
for this to work, we have to know the second the enemy shows up.
This is risky because what if the Shadows are a step ahead and part of their plan was that they would, Sheridan would see what the plan was and build up their forces in that one location, but they're actually not going to attack. They're going to attack somewhere else, but all their forces now lured somewhere else. So it could be a double bluff.
That means having an advanced scout on patrol in that area. One ship.
One ship makes sense.
You are to enter Sector 83 and maintain radio silence until the enemy comes out of hyperspace. You are not, repeat, not to engage their forces.
Well, not much choice. They might be engaged themselves.
Got a 50-50 chance of getting back alive.
Oh, not great odds. But yeah, I mean, they haven't got to be close. just within range to be able to pick up an attack. As soon as an attack happens, they radio the fleet for backup. The fleet comes in, they then go in to help. Makes sense just to have one ship in the area. Although radio silence would draw attention in itself, they just need to be acting normally. I don't quite know what I mean or what I want to say about this, but something doesn't feel right about them keeping the new White Star ships quiet. I get the secrecy, they don't want everyone to know about them, but they're asking the League of Non-Aligned Worlds to trust them. And say, for the mission, I get that, but this is the new ships, that's a big thing. It would also boost morale, knowing that they have additional ships to support. Maybe after the attack, I assume we're going to see that, then things will be different, and then they'll let them know, but I don't know.
You will have all the ships we can spare. I only hope that you are right, because it will cost us greatly if you are wrong.
Yes. It's kind of like an all-or-nothing attack. But yeah, but again, if it's a double bluff, they're in trouble.
We've got Commander Ivanova on Channel 4.
Any last-minute instructions?
Don't die.
Full ahead.
Phase and chalk.
They still don't speak English. I would have thought, if they're all Rangers, part of the Rangers, I'm assuming, then the humans would speak Minbari, and the Minbari would speak English, as that seems to be the primary language that's being spoken. It still seems a bit weird at this stage that they still can't understand English. Why did they use their own jump engine when they could use the gate? That seems a bit of a waste of power.
Have you seen or heard anything about Stephen lately?
Dr. Franklin? Not in 5, maybe 6 days.
I would have thought Garibaldi would be keeping better tabs on him.
He shouldn't be doing this. He shouldn't have to be doing this. I feel like I screwed up.
He shouldn't have to be doing this. Not alone, at least.
Sometimes people walk away because they want to be alone. Sometimes they walk away because they want to see if you care enough to follow them into hell.
Yeah.
Well, I don't understand. It says here this is a marketplace. Huh. I don't see much I'd want in my house.
Not a great place for tourists.
Well, Barbara, we do have homeless back home.
Shh. I've told you before not to contradict me in front of Jesse.
So that implies that she doesn't believe, well, she doesn't want to admit that there are homeless on Earth, and she tells her daughter that there's no homeless on Earth. Everything's perfect on Earth. She's drinking the Kool-Aid, basically. He seems a bit more down to earth. I'm surprised, well, that implies that they're tourists from Earth visiting Babylon 5. I'm surprised they'd be allowed to. I mean, last episode, they were smuggling communications through those religious leaders because information's not getting to Babylon 5. Yet tourists are allowed to visit? That seems weird. That doesn't make sense at all.
Told you to stay away from strange people. You don't know where he's been. Come on.
I actually agree with the sentiment. Stay away from strangers, but yeah, shouldn't have to say you don't know where he's been. Don't agree with that, but yeah, should have been keeping a closer eye on her in the first place. Don't think I'd be just sitting still. That seems to be stationary in space. I'd be moving, I think, unless they're hiding. Although they seem to be, and they're close to a planet or moon of some kind, but they're, I assume, visible still, even though they're stationary. But I'd be moving around. At least then if you are attacked, you're already moving and you can change course and accelerate away, whereas now they've got to, from stationary, if they're attacked, they've got to give the order to move, to slow things down, literally. Yeah, I think I'd be just, I don't know, even if you're just in orbit around the planet, moving around or the moon, I think I wouldn't be stationary, I don't think. So unless they are specifically hiding and they found somewhere they can hide if they're not detected. That's different.
You seem pretty fluent, Minbari.
You can't finish your training until you can speak and think in their language.
Well, doesn't that work both ways? So why can't the Minbari speak English?
Nuzin Falani and Alice Midron.
And what does that mean?
It's just a greeting.
Captain warned me about these things, but I had no idea.
They're very restful, good for the back.
They are pretty impractical. They should have a slightly less incline to them. Ah! There we go. That's an easy fix.
Still holding back.
What we'll have to do. Getting them was hard enough. Keeping them as this drags on is going to be really hard.
So they've got some ships. In their opinion, not enough. I mean, it's good that they've got some ships. But yeah, the longer they're kind of just in a holding pattern, waiting for the attack, the more the species is going to go, oh, nothing's going to happen, we need those ships back, and they'll pull them back. So, yeah, it's not a good position to be in.
Ivanova, Marcus, and me gone. I mean, Garibaldi's up to his ears. Franklin's still on walkabout.
There should be someone senior left on the station. You have to run the station, and again, what if it's a double bluff? What if the station is attacked?
It is tradition that they spend 3 nights together. The male sleeps, and the female watches.
Bit creepy.
But at a certain point in your sleep, as you relax, your true face is revealed.
Yeah, and always snoring and drooling. That's not a face anyone wants to see.
If he insists she stay one more night, she can leave when he falls asleep. Even cut off his access to her family.
Yeah, lock the knife drawer.
Get the hell away from me! Get away from me! Get the bag!
Someone's been attacked, mugged.
Hey, hey, hey! Leave him alone! Hello?
Oh, next target.
If there's a problem, we can handle it! Step it away!
That's a bit naive of him. If is that... Oh! Yeah, it's a bit naive of him to say, oh, if there's a problem, we can handle it, when they're muggers trying to steal someone's bag.
I can't. I was selling. Arrest me too.
Oh, nice. Oh, you could do something anonymously, at least send help down to him. Give him something to stem the bleeding. That's a lot of blood.
Anybody! Can you hear me? I need help!
The thing is, I think in most cases, that's not the kind of place people come running when someone shouts help. He did, but I think most people don't. He's lost so much blood, so he'd be dead. And as a doctor, he's sure he would know to be putting pressure on the wound, not holding your arm up looking at your hand. That would get uncomfortable very quickly. You'd slip through.
Are they here?
Not exactly, but you better take a look at this. We picked it up a few minutes ago.
What? If they're not here?
Composed of materials similar to the shadow vessels, but it's much smaller.
Probe?
It's close. Has it seen us yet?
I don't think so.
Right, so they are hiding. Don't quite know how.
Just as we were about to correct course to stay in the shadow of that moon.
Thank you very much.
But unfortunately, we're about to move out of eclipse. And as soon as we're out in the light...
They'll be seen. So they were hiding. I take back everything I said earlier then.
Jam it. Engines at maximum. We have to stop it before it can warn the others.
That's why part of me thinks they should have just been... If they couldn't hide fully 100% all the time, then they should have just been patrolling, just out there on a normal routine patrol. Just, look normal. Now that they saw the ship hiding, they know something's up. Don't know.
All the other cruisers have at least one telepath on board to help them slow down the enemy.
So they've got one telepath on each ship. For this kind of attack, I think they would have put a few, 2 or 3 on, because in this kind of fight, it's not just the ships, the number of ships that are going to help in the battle, it's the telepaths as well, because they seem to be able to hold a shadow ship in place. So if they had a couple of telepaths, well, let's say they've got one telepath on each ship. If they had 2, that's basically double the number of ships they can take on. That's considerable, and it's an easier resource than the physical ships to take into a battle like this. So yeah, that's a bit odd. I know obviously telepaths are rare commodity, and they don't want to risk too many. But say this attack's pretty big, and they haven't got all the ships they want. More telepaths would help.
From here, we can keep track of the battle.
How? I don't see any displays.
You will see when the time comes.
They're very mysterious. What about a bit of preparation so we can see what's going to happen and understand it all? When the time comes, it'll be too late. I know it's kind of their way, and it's done for the drama of the TV show, but I mean, he should have ripped off part of that cloth behind him and be putting that on the wound.
Always trying to be the hero. Never stopping to think first. Now, look where it's got you.
As he found himself.
If we're gonna talk, let's talk. Because I don't think you have a lot of time.
That's good. He goes on walkabout to find himself and then dies. Oh, different kind of weapon.
Prepare to fire.
What happens if he doesn't report in?
I don't know, but I do know what'll happen if he gets away.
Is that meant to be blood that spurts out? Whoa.
It'll take a while, will it? Wait a minute. I'm picking up an energy surge. Distance 5,000 kilometers.
And they're damaged. Are those full-size shadow ships? Yeah, that's a lot.
That's a lot of shit.
Yeah.
That's a bloody awful lot.
Yeah.
If I signal the fleet, this lot might pick it up.
You have to.
Signal away.
It's a hell of a thing for them to have to do, but they had to do it. That takes amazing guts to do that. Knowing as soon as they push that button that they have to push, they're dead.
Estimate they're 3 hours from the system's primary target, less than 20 minutes from us.
Why so long? Again, that's been done for the show. Normally they just jump straight in on top of the target. There's no reason for them to be 3 hours away.
You use work to run away from your personal life.
He does.
Sims to run away from your work.
He does. But also sometimes his work and personal life blur together a bit too much when they shouldn't do. Especially when it comes to women.
You're too busy dying, aren't you? I guess that's a little bit more important to you right now.
It's not particularly helpful, him being distracted in this way. Obviously he's hallucinating, but... One seen them.
They can hear me from here.
Yes.
So he's got like a 3D view of it all.
Have your telepaths start jamming their capital ships.
Yes. But still, they got quite a few smaller ships I saw. I can't see the new white stars.
You should be getting real cold right about now. Yeah, that's shocking.
Are they saving them to come in at the last second? Again, great for dramatic effect, but not great because a lot of ships will be destroyed before that happens.
I mean, what do you want? What could you possibly want?
To live.
I want to do it all again.
You can't do it all again, but you can certainly get things right going forward.
Stand up. Stand up.
So he's climbed up that in the state he's in? Oh, there are. Oh no, that was them. Oh no, they are there. Shouldn't see them. Oh.
Drazi ships are surrounded.
Mimbari cruiser Mphili. Pull back. Protect the Drazi.
That kind of implies they're keeping ships grouped together by species, which is a terrible idea. They need to be completely mixed up. Otherwise, if that happens, if they surround a certain race's ships and take them out, then that's going to put off that race from sending any more ships in the future. They need to mix them all up so that there are minimal losses for each species. That doesn't make sense. That's a really bad tactical idea. Oh, so they got more than one telepath there. There's no way he'd be able to move the way he is. The amount of blood he's lost. And there would more than likely be a trail of blood behind him. I got a non-heavy cruiser as well. Again, visually, that display that Sheridan's and Delenn have got looks impressive, but it's pointless from a tactical point of view. All he can see is some stuff that's going on around him. He can't see the whole picture of the attacks and see where the movements of everything. He needs basically I was going to say a 2D overview, but maybe even a 3D overview, so he can see where ships are and what's going on, and he can direct accordingly. Just seeing it visually like that, it's not going to help him at all. It just looks cool, which it does. And again, they got more telepaths on that one. That's okay, that's better. Doesn't seem to be helping much. God, even if they win, they've got huge losses. In the last time when they had that attack, though, the telepaths were able to stop a shadow ship in its tracks. It was held. That doesn't seem to be happening here. Is that because they've learnt? Was it just more of a surprise before, so that's why they were frozen? Might be the excuse they give, but it does seem to be a different attack this time, a different fight.
Help.
Right, well, there are some people there trying to hold you, and you're walking away from them. Lay him down. It is cool the way they kind of shrivel up. Oh, retreat. But I say, ooh, huge losses. But they won. Oh, you can see the cost.
Guess I really screwed up, huh?
Ah, so he's obviously hallucinated seeing them. Is that because he wanted to see them? Did he want them to be there helping him? In which case that kind of adds credence to what Garibaldi was saying earlier, that some people go off on their own because they want to be alone, and some people go off on their own to see if basically people will follow. Is that what actually Stephen wanted? He wanted them to be there and to help him. Interested. That might be the case.
Take over whatever space you need. We've got 4 more shuttles with wounded coming through.
God, they're going to be swamped medically.
We turned back their attack, but we lost a lot of ships.
Every one of their ships we killed. 2 of ours were destroyed.
Ooh.
Still, it's the first time we managed to bring all the League worlds together and organize them into a fighting force.
Might be the last time, though, if the losses were that big.
Now that we've shown them we can hurt them, how long until they come knocking at our front door?
I'm going to guess 7 days. I'm going to guess 4 days.
How do you feel?
Like it was stabbed in the back and left to die.
He was stabbed in the front and left to die.
You know, with all this, I just hope you found what you were looking for out there.
Has he now?
Guess I found what I needed, not what I wanted.
Now it's time for change.
But just don't ever do this to me again.
You're not going to give an update on the big attack that just happened? I mean, you can see something big's happened. Ooh, what's that?
Now, it's only a matter of time before they come after us.
Hmm.
The only questions are how and when.
4 days.
Great machine on the planet below available to our defense. I suspect his weapons could stop even a shadow vessel.
But we've already seen, the only weapons we've seen from the Great Machine have been the rockets that it fires when ships go down and try to enter without permission. What other weapons does it have? It'd be cool to see it doing something offensive.
So what are you saying? They're deliberately leaving us alone?
It's possible. I mean, they haven't exactly been shy about hitting anybody else around here.
So why? An obvious target.
Ever since Kosh died, I've been remembering a dream. He got inside my head. He spoke to me.
He's still inside your head.
One of them was you saying, "Do you know who I am?" A week later, you tell me you're a latent telepath.
Do you remember any?
Yeah, what are the other images?
So you're saying that the man in between
It's
is your
him.
equal and opposite?
That's the thing with prophecies, though. You can interpret them so many different ways when they're used like that. You try and make them fit when they might not necessarily fit in that way. That's why sort of Nostradamus's prophecies made so long ago, people read so much into them because things happen over, was it certainly hundreds of years that they were made, his prophecies, and in that time something's going to happen that matches up with a prophecy, just because the odds, the laws of the odds basically, it happens. So yeah,
My signs, portents, dreams. Next we'll be
yeah.
reading tea leaves and chicken entrails. We should expect something to be coming our way sooner or later. The way our luck works.
Sooner, yeah. Ah, well, yeah, something is on its way. Don't recognize the ship, though.
Now, the rest of you, you've got trauma cases overloading med labs 2 and 5.
I get the feeling about why he's doing this, but what about the person who is actually in charge at the moment while he's gone?
They know it's unofficial, but they can use all the help they can get.
Your job's waiting for you, if you want it.
Sure you want to do this?
If you're sure you want to take it.
I mean, again, I get why he's doing it, but has he checked to make sure he's off the stims? I mean, he knew there was a problem. Is that problem fixed? Is he better? He's just, I mean, he's been stabbed and come back, and he's just immediately given his job back. You need to look into the problems he had for his sake and his patient's sake to make sure everything's okay. And even if he is okay, you need to be following this up with, right, also you need to be seeing some counselling, get some counselling help and get some support for him. Otherwise it just runs the risk of it all happening again. So,
I think now I can do better.
Good.
It's the problem that the stims, they let me do more, but what I needed was to do better. I was running away.
Yeah, that's all good, and it's good to talk about it.
You had to find your own way.
I ran away.
Good, at least he admits it.
I have a message from Ambassador Delenn. She says she awaits your pleasure.
That's, right there.
That's not the kind of message you'd want to broadcast. And you could hear the smile or smirk in the whoever was giving that message. You could hear it in their voice. Mr. Morden. She's watching him sleep, which again, a little bit creepy. Why is everyone staring like that? Who is it?
Receive transmission, audio only.
We just had somebody come on board.
This is a space station.
It concerns the captain.
Well, who is it?
That's interesting. He's taking his link off to sleep. I thought he'd leave it on. And I mean, it's like taking your watch off to go to bed. I always leave mine on. But I wonder if it's like a symbolic thing. By taking it off, he's kind of off duty. It helps him then to sleep. Whereas leaving it on, you kind of always alert in case something happens, a message comes in for you, like it did for Ivanova then. But she didn't answer hers via a link either. That communication, it was like through the computer in her room. Yeah, that's kind of interesting. Oh, this is the vision she had.
You must be Delenn. I'm Anna Sheridan, John's wife.
She's dead. 2 days. 1 episode to go to the end of the season. So she knew. Well, I'm assuming she came off the Shadow ship. She's who was on that ship. She knows who Delenn is. How did she get in there? She just walked into the room. How? She wouldn't have permission to walk in there. She's dead, isn't she? Or the system should be marked as dead. So why would she have permission to walk into his room? And even if the system didn't know she was dead, he hasn't been there long, and she wasn't around when he came to Babylon 5. So why would she have permission to walk into his quarters? That's a bit weird. It was a good episode. Yeah, seeing the attack. That's war. Yes, they won the battle, but at a huge cost. They lost a lot of ships. I still don't quite get that. From the way they were saying that the shadow ships are surrounding I think it was the Drazi. That just means that, we didn't see ships grouped together because I was looking. They were quite spread out, but it's just a weird thing to say. Because that would just be a very bad tactical thing to do. Plus, all the different ships will probably have advantages and disadvantages. Some might have a bit more firepower. Some might have more maneuverability. So by mixing them up, you create a better force. Grouping them together, the only good thing that keeping one certain group together would be a good idea is a species or ships that have very good long distance attack. You would hold those back and group together and fire long distance. That would make sense, but the rest you'd mix up. But yeah, so it's good that they won, but what are the repercussions of what happened? And it doesn't make sense that they wouldn't attack Babylon 5. If that's where everything's being run from, which they must know it is, Shadows must know that's where everything's happening, that would just be the obvious place to attack. Take out the station, you take out the people organising it, the base of operations. From their past experience, Babylon 4, they know that even if they don't know it was Babylon 4 and the history of that, they know that one station or one place where things are organised can turn the tide. So history is repeating itself. So, take it out. That doesn't make sense. Unless, it looks like next episode maybe that is the plan, but I would have thought they'd have done it sooner. So his wife, she did say wife, not ex-wife, because she died when they were married. She went on, I'm trying to make sure I don't get them mixed up, but she went on the trip that Mr. Morden was on, I think. Yeah, she was on the ship Mr. Morden was on. Obviously, we've seen him come back, and now she's come back. So it looks like maybe nobody actually died on that ship. They were all captured. Don't know. And obviously, just as Delenn and Sheridan are getting closer, now she's back. What's that going to do? So yeah, looking forward to the next episode, last one of the season. See what happens there. Let me know what you thought about this one in the comments below, and I shall see you for the next episode. Be seeing you.